Delighted to be joined now by former Ireland and Leinster player Devin Toner at the launch for Aviva Pride. Devin, how's things? How is life treating you?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good. Enjoying it. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. All is good. So you grew up in Manali and Meath. I'm a Meath woman. So when I hear Manali, I think more GA comes to mind. What was it like growing up there? And was rugby your first love, or did you play other sports?
Played other sports. Yeah, I played GA first, GA and hurling. I played GA with Manalvi, played hurling with Kiltale, and then started playing rugby in North Kildare in Kilcock. So then obviously kicked on when I went to Castleknock. So all sports really, but I was never good enough to to keep up with GA.
I'd say when they heard you were going off, obviously, to Castleknock at that point, losing someone of your height especially, I'm sure it was a big blow to them.
Yeah. I was never fit enough. I wasn't able to keep up with anyone. So at the end, they just threw me in full forward and kicked the ball into to get some goals.
Did you ever go back playing anything else when you retired?
No, well, I played a charity GA match in Croker actually over the summer with Fergus McFadden, and I found it very hard. It was the fitness wasn't quite there. But yeah, no, literally I retired last June, and I literally haven't jogged three since. So I need to get back and need to get the body moving, doing something.
Yeah, I think it's important as well to take a rest after it. Obviously, for playing for so long at such a high level, I'm sure, was it a time for you to say, I just need to chill out for a little while?
Pretty much. Did it for 17 years, and I was obviously have two young kids as well, so took the time to relax. Got a good holiday over the summer, started a new job in September, and then kind of just relaxing, enjoying the weekends, enjoying being able to do stuff with the family and stuff. So it's it's been a good time.
I just remember watching Brian O'Driscoll's documentary After the Roar. I don't know if you ever watched it.
I saw clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
Yeah, just about speaking to people that played at high levels and what it was like to stop and to retire and to come to terms with that. What was it like for you? Obviously, I know you didn't get to retire on your own terms, but what was it like for you to, I suppose, come to terms with it all?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was in a good space. I think the people who kind of struggle with it are the lads who don't know what direction they're going. I suppose I had a job lined up, and I knew what direction I was going. I knew I was going to be starting in September, so for the last year of my career, I knew where I was going, so I knew what direction I was going. So it was kind of it made the transition easier. But the lads that you see who struggle are lads who don't know, have anything in the background, or they don't know what they're going to do. So that kind of helped me, and I think I was at a stage where I knew I was going to retire. Like, I got my last year contract by the skin of my teeth, so I kind of knew that was going to be my last year. So I knew I was going to be stopping. So the transition period for me has actually been quite enjoyable, to be honest.
And do you miss playing at all?
I do and I don't. For the majority of the time, I don't. You do miss seeing the big games, though. You miss obviously when you've seen the lads win the Grand Slam, when you see obviously the big games in the Championship finals and the URCs. When you see the big games, you do miss them, because you do get a bit nostalgic because you remember all the good times, and you remember what you have gone through. But for the majority of the time, I don't miss it, no.
Yeah, no, you played for long enough. You can get to relax now. Yeah. But again, just looking at the Munster result then at the weekend, winning the URC against the Stormers, what an unbelievable result. It was an important win for them.
Absolutely. It's the only time I've supported Munster and wanted them to do well. They obviously had a great game against Leinster, and to go down there and get a result against the Stormers was huge. But I think it was great for Irish rugby, great for the I suppose, obviously, for the Munster squad and the Irish squad, and seeing them do so well is going to be great for Ireland, and I think it was great to see for the league as well.
Yeah, like their first major trophy for 12 years. It felt like it was a long time coming, and in the nature in which they done it, obviously beating Leinster on the way in the semi-final as well. They'll grow a lot from that, and as a club, they'll take a lot from it.
Absolutely, because I suppose the younger players will take a lot more as well. Do you mean so? Because the more you win, the more you want to win. So like that'll be the first medal for a lot of them as well. So like that'll kick them on and make them want to go on and kick on and do more. So it's huge for the younger members of the squad.
And then on the flip side of all this, Leinster losing against La Rochelle second time in a row in the Champions Cup final. Yeah. Ronan O'Gara, he does it again. What was it like? Yeah. What was it like watching that game?
Yeah, I was sitting in the crowd watching it. I was sitting beside Kevin McLaughlin, and the two of us were didn't know what was happening. We were like, obviously came out of the blocks raring to go, and then obviously went forward. We were 17 points up at one stage. So, I don't know. We just didn't have the ball in the second half, and things happened. Do you know what I mean? La Rochelle are a class team, and we just kind of let a couple of tries slip in, and kind of let the grasp go. So terribly disappointing for them. Disappointing for Stu Lancaster as well. He's obviously moving on. Disappointing for Johnny and stuff. So it's disappointing end of the season.
Yeah, extremely tough one to take, as you said, for Stuart Lancaster, who's moving on. For Leo Cullen, to have this team that's talked about so much, you know, this one of the best teams in terms of club rugby, and to not have any silverware to show for it again, it's a tough place to be in.
Absolutely. Like, you're obviously building to one thing. Well, like obviously two things. You're obviously building to the league and the cup all year long, and that's your goal. That's what you're striving to do. And obviously we've fallen at the last couple of hurdles the last couple of years. So it's hugely disappointing. Yeah, especially considering the talent that we have in the squad and all the hard work that's gone in behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. What have you made of what Ronan O'Gara has done at La Rochelle?
Brilliant. Obviously, brilliant coach. I've never been coached by him. I obviously played with him a little bit, coming up the end of his career. So he's obviously he's a phenomenal player. He's a great coach, but he seems like he's built a culture down there. Whereas I like, just from talking to other people, that you hear that that's the problem in a lot of French teams. There's not a big, huge culture because everyone's coming from loads of different places, all different countries. So I think it's a hard thing to build in a French team, and I think he's done that. He's brought a real personal edge to it, and he's really got lads to buy in. And I think Donnacha Ryan has done a phenomenal job as well with the forwards.
Yeah, there was comments afterwards that this will affect Ireland's chances in the World Cup. Do you believe in any of that, or what do you make of those comments?
Nah, I don't think it won't affect Ireland's chances at all. I think because different setup, different team, different coaches, and I wouldn't buy into that at all.
Yeah, Ronan was speaking this morning and off the ball, and he just said it's completely different, a completely different setup, completely different coach, you know, different mindset altogether, and he just doesn't believe that will have any effect at all.
No, it won't. Absolutely won't.
And just looking at Andy Farrell, he's named his 42-player summer training squad then to begin the preparations for the World Cup. Have you had a chance to look at the team, or what did you make of it?
Yeah, had a quick glance at it. Yeah, like no surprises really. I think he's gone with a team that he trusts and that he has a lot of faith in. Obviously, it needs to be whittled down. Obviously, before the actual tournament, so that's when the kind of excitement will build. But there's going to be a lot of tough decisions. A lot of good players won't be able to get in the plane. Like if you look at the squad, do you think who can he obviously not bring? There's a lot of good players that aren't going to get in the plane.
Yeah, 20 players from Leinster. There's 9 from Munster. So I think Munster maybe thought they might have a few more in there, especially after doing so well this season. But as you said, so competitive, and the talent is really just unbelievable that he has to pick from.
Absolutely. Huge amount of talent. There's obviously a huge amount of talent not got on as well, considering how well Munster have done as well. But everyone has a lot of faith in Andy and the coach and the coaching team. You know, he's delivered in the last year or two. So why would you obviously question it now? He's I don't think he cares what other people think, though. He's going to pick the team that he wants, and he's not going to bow to pressure, I suppose. So it's just about getting that squad and buying in and doing the best you can now.
They'll be coming off, obviously, the Grand Slam win. You've been there as a player. Is it easier or more difficult place to come off a Grand Slam win, going into a World Cup with a lot of expectation?
Expectation is always pressure, but pressure is good as well. You know, can't be complacent. But number one in the world, won a Grand Slam, weight of the country on your shoulders, a lot of pressure, a lot of media hype, a lot of talk. So it'll be good, but again, it's pressurized as well. Yeah.
What was it like for you in 2015?
Yeah, huge. World Cups are World Cups. Like it's obviously when we lost Argentina, it was one of the worst obviously losses that I've gone through in my career. Obviously I had the disappointment of not going in 19 as well. So I would know what the lads will feel like who don't get picked. So, but World Cup is absolutely massive when it comes to you and your career. You know, it's one of the things that you're always going to remember.
Yeah, do you have any fond memories? I remember there was maybe headlines, I think, did you go to Alton Towers? You did something on one of your days off, and I
And
remember
I wasn't allowed on some of the rides.
you were too
Too big for them.
tall.
Yeah, too big for them. On some of them. Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
know going there that was probably going to be the case?
No, but I just know from experience that any place like that, I'm not going to get on some of them because they don't want to risk you dying or me hitting my head on something.
What height are you now? 6'10"?
Oh, 6'10", yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
still get people? I suppose everyone
I
recognizes you, but do people stop
no,
and think?
I still get people coming up and asking me photos and who know nothing about rugby.
Yeah.
I still get that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I can never shy away in a crowd anyway.
Yeah. So obviously that was one memory from 2015, a little bit different from on the playing field, but was it a positive experience, I suppose, for your first ever World
Oh,
Cup? There's going to be
absolutely,
a lot
yeah.
of these lads in that situation.
Yeah, hugely. Yeah, it's just the feel good factor around the World Cup is huge. And it was great for us in 2015 because it was so close to home. So there was loads of people coming over for the games. So we're like, you had a lot of hassle trying to get tickets for the games. But at the end of the day, it was great seeing friends and family there as well because of all the traveling support. But yeah, no, it's a phenomenal tournament to be able to be a part of.
Will you get to the World Cup this year at all?
Nothing has cropped up yet. Something might crop up last minute, but at the minute I'm not going over yet. No. So,
what do you think their chances are?
you know, like it's kind of the same as what everyone else says. We do have a chance. We're obviously ranked number one in the world, but to win it, you have to get by some of the best teams in the world. But our side of the draw is especially hard. But I think we do have a good chance. But it's all about performing on the day, isn't it? I would have said Leinster were going to beat Rochelle no bother in the Champions Cup final, but that's sport at the end of the day. Anything can happen.
You just never know. That is it. Well, Devin, thanks so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ashley.